Hello, my name is Terry Lee and I work at Monkeying Around. We make the greatest dot-to-dot books. I'm the office manager, and many years ago I took one of David Calvitis' dot-to-dot puzzles, one of the ones that's personal to him, and made him a piece of string art. He has them in his office hung up, so I can't really take it down and show it to you. There are some images on monkeyingaround.com's website, and I will put a link below so that if you're interested in going to see them, you can. We've decided that we can share the puzzles that we have so that you can make your own string art. It's fairly inexpensive and it's really easy to do. So today we're going to be doing a do-it-yourself Mother's Day daffodil string art project using dot-to-dot. So the first thing you're going to need is the dot-to-dot puzzles that we have on the blog, and there will be a link to them. And this is the image that you're going to see and you're going to print out. And this is an image of a daffodil. Sorry to spoil it for you. There's some clip art here that you're going to be cutting to put on the bottom of the picture frame if you'd like. And then there's also a mom dot down here if you'd like to add that. So this is on regular everyday copy paper, and you're definitely going to want copy paper. So there's this one, and then along with it there's another one where I've solved it, and I've solved it in green and yellow and orange, which is the colors of the daffodil that I've chosen to do my string art in. So print this too, because this is a great reference so that you know what order, as you're pinning the nails into the board, you know what order to string the art. So this is what you're going to want to print that too in color if you can. If you can't do it in color, print two in the black and white and solve it yourself in the colors that you'd like. And then that will make it easier so that you have a reference sitting next to you. And you're going to need one of these ones here so that when you have your string art board, sorry, I'm falling on the picture, you're going to set it down like this, and then you're going to push the nails through, and then you're going to tear the pieces out as you finish with the string art. So you're going to need that. I'll get this out of my way here. You're going to need some black craft foam. I found this significantly more inexpensive than doing regular foam core with white and then going to find black velvet. I know most original 1960s and 70s string art was all done on black velvet. That's very expensive. So I'm just found black foam core at the Dollar Tree. So it was a whole big sheet for $1. So that's what I recommend using. It's inexpensive, and it makes the cost more bearable for kids to do art crafts for their parents. You're going to need a craft knife to cut the foam, and a metal ruler if you've got one. Using any other ruler type, you have a chance to, as you're cutting, slice into whether it's a wood ruler or a plastic ruler. I have many plastic rulers now with gouges on it because my craft blade was nice and sharp and it actually carved it out. So I recommend using a metal ruler to carve out your foam core off the big sheet. You're going to need 2 picture frames from the Dollar Tree. So I have 2, and I've taken this one apart. This one was pretty, I don't know if you can be able to see it. I don't think so. Oh, yep, there you can see it. It's got a couple of dings and bangs on it, but it was $1. So this one's going to go on the base, and this one came out, it seems pretty okay. There's a little smudge here, and I'll probably flip the picture frame over and put the greeting that I have on the bottom of the picture frame. What we're going to do is we're going to glue these together like this, and then you're going to have a shadow box. So that is a $2 shadow box. I'm not sure you can get a $2 shadow box anywhere. You're going to need nails. So I got these nails at the local hardware store. They were $1 something a package. They came with 100 nails, and we're going to be using 109 nails. There's 77 dots on the puzzle, and then there's 32 dots for the word mom. So I needed 2 packages. I also have a black Sharpie, because what I did was I colored all these nails ahead of time with the black Sharpie, so that they were no longer this silver color, which did not show up very well on the foam core. I didn't like the way it looked, but the black seems to look okay. This is my sample that I tried, and as you can see, these are now black. And the silver just didn't look as good. Here, I'll show you. There. I don't know, it just stood out more and made it harder to see the string. So you can see a little bit of green here. I'm going to try and focus in. There's a little bit of green there, and what I did was, the string that I'm using is from the dollar store, and it comes in yellow, baker's twine yellow, orange, and brown. And this yellow is yellow and white, and it just didn't seem to be bright enough, so I took a good old Sharpie, it's a highlighter, and colored over the string as I was going along. So I'll be doing that too, just to brighten it up. So you're also going to need glue. So I found Mod Podge at the dollar store. It's $1 for a bottle. This is a small bottle, and I refill it with my larger bottle. It seems to keep the air out, so it just doesn't go as bad as fast. You're going to need at least Mod Podge or some type of glue to be able to put the picture frames together, and to put a dab of glue using a toothpick on the string as you go along. It keeps it from popping off. You're going to need a paper plate, which is what these are on. I use micropore tape. It's a medical tape, but it is, well, that one's going to be really hard to see. It's not started. Okay, this one's already started. It's very thin, and it tears, and it removes very easily off of anything you put it on. It's just like washi tape, but it's a little bit cheaper than washi tape, so I don't mind ripping it off and tossing it out. You can also use painter's tape. I'm not quite sure how painter's tape is going to work on this cheap foam core, though. I do know that I pulled off of this one that I tried, this tape, and it did not hurt the foam core. If you pull it up slow, it didn't peel it off, because if you peel it off too fast, you may tear the black, and it is white on the inside, and that will obviously ruin your art project. But you need to be able to keep these two pieces of foam core together, and the easiest way is with that tape. So I used a photo of a daffodil, and it has yellow petals and an orange center, so that's the colors I'm going to be using for my string. I have colored Sharpies. This is for the nail heads, and then these two highlighting Sharpies, which you can also get at the dollar store. You can use any highlighter. They're made out of alcohol ink. I'm going to use to basically darken up the string, because it's white and yellow or white and green. Instead of using this brown for my petals, which would be really silly, I had my own green and white here, so I'm going to use that. If you don't have that, but you have embroidery floss, you can also use it. The only one that I wouldn't use is green that's really dark like this, because it just doesn't show up. But this bright green will show up, and the white will show up if you want to color that when you're done with a Sharpie. You can also use the Bic markets, or Sharpie also has a big set of colored markers like this too. They're all made out of alcohol ink, and it will all work really well. And then you're also going to need a scrap piece of cardboard, and that is to keep from indenting the foam core as you're pushing on it. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but as I was doing this, well, there's a dent right there. As I was doing this, I was actually leaving little, I don't know, from my wrist, I guess, dents and divots in the foam core. And even though it's not showing on camera very well, you can definitely see the imperfections right up close. So good old box of Kleenex here, or tissues, excuse me. It's actually not Kleenex, it's the other one. I'm going to cut out a piece of cardboard. I just hit my recycle bin. So I can set this down on the foam core, and it shouldn't leave any marks, oils from my hand. Basically, it'll protect this foam core and keep it in the new condition it's in. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take apart the bottom frame, which I've already done here, so it's empty. And you're going to want to take out this piece here and then trace it onto the big foam core board like that. And then you're going to cut it out, put it on a cutting mat and cut it out so you have two pieces of foam core the same size. And then once you've got those two, you're going to tape them together. And unfortunately, I need to find this edge here on the camera. There we go. So all I did is I didn't want the corners to shift. So I put this like this. On all four corners. You don't need to use a lot, you just need to make sure it's level when you're using it. It seems really sticky, but it pops right off. I use it for all my scrapbooking and card making. It's great for making a straight line with ink or something and then popping it off. Okay, so there. So now these are not coming apart. So the other thing you're going to need to do is take, I'm going to be working backwards, so I guess I better do this. Okay. So I have my design here, and unfortunately I have to have this right side up so I can read it. So I have the daffodil, and then I'm going to cut out this mom so that I have enough room. You don't want to do is you don't want to put anything too close to the edge of the picture frame. Or the picture frame won't go on properly and you'll have to start all over. This isn't something that you can start and then stop and fix it. Once you push those pins into this foam core, they're in, and that's that. Okay, so and I can't find the edge of my tape now. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I'm just going to center this, put that there, and put that there. Now this puzzle says no dots on it, and let's see if I can bring it up. There are no dots. What you're going to do is you're just going to put the nail head in the center of the number. In case you saw that and were wondering how you were going to figure that one out. Okay. So that should leave enough room for the mom. And I'm going to do this now. Oh. Okay. So now, I've already colored my nail heads, which I said in the beginning. They dry really fast. So you're just going to go like this with a black Sharpie. If you have the Bic markers or the colored Sharpies or any other alcohol marker, you can just do this and set it down and it'll dry really fast. It's an alcohol marker. And okay, I think I have them all. I hope I have them all. I'll just use those two last. And the other thing you're going to do, just let you know, when you put the marker or the nail head down, it does leave a smudge of black. Make sure you drop it not on its head but on its side. And it will rub off if you're not careful, but it will not rub off on your fingers. So, but it will scratch off. We're going to take the Mod Podge. Okay, so that's all set. Now I have this. I'm going to take some string. Now you don't want to cut your string. And then I'm going to put a loop. I'm going to leave quite a long tail because I want to tape it down. So there, I've made a loop. And I'm going to take my first nail and find number 1. You're going to be solving this puzzle as we go along. There. And push it in all the way down. It will leave, yep, you can see it. It'll leave a little dent. Don't push it more than that or it'll go all the way through. Okay. So then we're going to tie this around the nail head underneath it so it won't come off. You're going to make a knot. I would not make more than 2 ties though, because it's going to be really bulky and it'll be really obvious it's there. Okay, and then you're going to take a little tiny, I don't even think the camera can focus in on it, tiny bit of glue and just run it underneath. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Run it underneath the nail head like this, on top of the string. Okay, so then we're going to put in a couple more of these nail heads and just do them in the number order of the dot to dot puzzle. So go to 2, and go to 3, go to 4. Don't go too far ahead of yourself because what's going to happen is you're going to get so far ahead you won't be able to see which one goes where. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go around counterclockwise around 2, and then clockwise around 3, and then counterclockwise around 4, and just make one little loop. And then put a little bit of Mod Podge or glue right where the strings cross over themselves, underneath the nail head. Try not to go over the nail head. And this is going to stay wet for a little bit, so you want to try to keep it tight. Otherwise you'll have sags. And then you're going to go to 5. And 6. Now this puzzle, some of the numbers will cross around and over really close next to each other. So that was 5, and I don't know what one I did. 6's here, and 7 is here, and having nails does help. Okay, I'm going to put a little glue here, and a little glue here. And a little glue there. You wouldn't think that that would hold, but after a while it really holds up nice. The reason I use the Mod Podge instead of just stringing it along is occasionally it'll loosen and then it'll unravel like 10 numbers back and I won't be able to get back to it again. I'll have to undo everything I just did. So there's number 9. Okay, I'm going to be changing colors here soon too. Ten, 11. There. 12's the last color for yellow until I get back to the leaves. So the easiest thing to do when you're sitting here waiting is take your string, tear off a piece of micropore tape, tape the string down, making it nice and tight. So I have it here. It's nice and tight, so now it's not going to come off this pin. And then I'm going to grab my other color. So I'm going to do orange next. Scissors. I'm also going to cut this right here because I really don't need this for a while. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to make a loop, leave enough string hanging off. I think I can cut this one now. No, it doesn't seem to be dry enough yet. Guess I won't. All right. That's the first one. Well, we're going to put this on 11. Here, make it nice and tight. And I'm going to glue it. Got some glue in the wrong spot. And then I'm going to take some more tape. And glue this out here just to keep it out of the way until it dries a little bit more. There. Okay. So now I have to put down number 12. And 13. Okay, so I'm back. It does take a while to do this, just to let you know. A lot of glue under each nail. But you can kind of sort of see the daffodil in there, and that's just with white paper. But right now it also looks like a hot mess. Mostly because of all these strings on the outside here that I've got. Every time I had to do a new string, I'd tie it off in the I'd wrap it around once, and then glue it, and then hold it in place with one hand and tie it with the other on the long piece that I started it with, and then go ahead and wrap, and then make sure to glue all those underneath, every single one, and then cut off a long piece and tape it down so it's nice and tight. So this is nice and tight here. So they're all pretty tight. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. They're supposed to be in as far as they go to. On the back, you can see some of them have poked through a little bit. I honestly don't care about that. I'm also not sure if it's because, I mean, they feel pretty level, so maybe the nails are exactly the same centimeters height. They're supposed to be, but who knows? I can't imagine they're being machined. So anyway, I need to do the mom down here now. I will say that when I put a piece of this micropore tape right here, and I don't know if you can see it. I'm really bad about going back and forth upside down. No, you can't. Oh yeah, you can right there. When I pulled the micropore tape off, it tried to tear the paper. This is just regular copy paper. So with much care, if you get it on there, make sure that don't cover any dots, because what you don't want to do is put the nail through the micropore tape. That'll be a nightmare trying to get this piece of paper and the micropore tape out from underneath all these nail heads, because all these nail heads have to stay in when you're trying to pull out all this paper now that has been your guide. So don't put micropore tape over any dots. Keep it on the edges, and then when you peel it off really carefully on the sections you need to. As I start ripping off this paper that I've got here, all this paper has to come out. I'll make sure that all these extra strings are off. So I'm going to wait and let the glue dry before I go ahead and do that. So right now I'm going to do the mom, and then you don't need to watch that process, don't worry. I will come back after I'm done with that, and I will make sure that the glue is dry so that I can just go ahead and start showing you how to take apart your paper guides, so that all you're left with basically is your nails and your string. And then we're going to look at it and decide whether or not we think we need to touch up the colors. You may decide to just leave it with the string that you've used, and you may not think that it needs to be touched up or brightened up. Like with this green down here on the stem, I may decide to go ahead and use the Sharpie highlighter just to highlight it and make it pop, but I won't know until I get all this paper and tape off. So I'll be back in a little bit with the mom done and getting ready to pull all these pieces of paper out. Alright, so we're back. I have the mom done and the flower done, and it looks actually pretty good in the video. It doesn't look that great in person, so there is hope. All my nails are gone and my glue is officially dried up. So now comes the part about where we take everything apart and pull out all this little white. Now I will say that during this process, as I was doing it, I totally forgot to use my cardboard. Don't forget to use your cardboard. Your cardboard is so that when you put a pin in, you're not pushing with a fingernail onto the foam. So you're going to see a bunch of little indents like the previous one that I tested. So I know that's going to happen. Do not take off the four corners because those ones are holding the foam together. Oh yeah, I can see dent marks already. I don't know if it's going to show up in the video. I don't think I'm going to be able to focus on it. Oh, there's some dents in there already. Well, okay. Alright, so now we have this mom down here. So I have tweezers and my little tiny scissors. Okay, so I'm going to try and zoom in and see if I can get my camera to focus. There we go. Okay. So what I try to do is, without digging my nail into the foam, lift up the paper. There we go. If you can tear it, tear it. If you see your nails start popping out, that's bad. But there, I just tore that piece off. Make sure you have a little garbage can handy, otherwise you're going to have little pieces of paper everywhere. Okay, and if it won't tear, I'll give it a snip right up to the nail. We have mom. Zoom in. I noticed that I hadn't set up my picture frames totally yet. So I put it in this picture frame and I left these pins on because I have to put on this backing piece so that it will stand up. But I need to put this other one on top to make it a shadow box because, as if you notice, the nails stick out. So we're going to use this one. I took all the insides out to set it on top, but it won't go through because there are these little black pins. So I need to take these pins out that hold in all the insides for just the top. Don't take it out of this one, because this one you need it for. But I have my pliers, and I'm just going to pop these out, and they slide out really easy. I probably should keep them, but I have no idea where I would use them other than for another picture frame. I don't need another picture frame right now. So, there we go. Now I know that there's a scratch on here, and I'm going to make sure that's on the bottom. I'm going to take this picture frame and take this one, and we're just going to set it on top and make sure that everything looks okay. And that is what it's going to look like when it's all done. So, this is the thicker cardstock that I printed on, and it has this sentiment on it. And it says, "A mother is like a flower, each one beautiful and unique." So we need to color that in. This is from the Bic Market. I got lime sorbet, yummy, and margarita green, yummy, yummy. And I'm going to grab this one here. I'll flip that over because these will bleed through the paper, and I don't want it to bleed onto my good one or onto my mat. So we're going to color the bottom here. So that's that. So now I'm going to trim this out. Now, by the way, this is still on scrap paper. This is not the original. I just want to see if the green is going to look okay on the bottom of this picture frame. Okay. So I have the banner all cut out. It seems like the gradation worked okay. So, I'm going to set this down. Remember this way. We're going to zoom out, not in. Okay. That's those pins dragging. Okay. And the idea is well, actually that looks kind of cute. So I'll be sticking this, gluing this, and attaching this to the bottom of the frame, and then I'm going to be putting some liquid glass over it. Alright, finally we managed to extricate all that paper. This is what I'm left with. And honestly, it looks great on camera, but I don't know how it's going to look in here. Well, let's see how my push is in there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take the highlighter and highlight the green and the yellow. It doesn't look like I should from here, but in person it's just not that bright. Okay. That was a fairly quick process considering everything else. It's taken me forever. Okay. And I'm going to leave this alone. I really don't want to do the orange. So this is what it's going to go into. Now I need to glue without taking apart. These corners. I can't leave this on there. It'll show up. Okay. So something else you're probably going to need to do before you do anything else. And I'm going to grab my pen. You can sign your work on the front, but I'm going to sign mine on the back. Okay, I just used a Signal Uniball pen, and it writes on there just fine. I'm just going to pop this in here. It's not going to go any further than that. I'm going to take the backer and put it on here. Say a little prayer that it fits. And it seems to. Okay, now if you didn't want to try the shadow box, and you didn't mind trying to figure out how to dust that, you could just give it like this. But I don't want to dust that. Okay. So before I do anything else, I'm going to pause and clean this glass. Okay. Glass is as clean as it's going to get. So now, make sure everything's off, and this is all ready. So here's this crazy moment. You don't want to put the Mod Podge on so thick that it creates a big mess on each edge. Alright. It's starting to dry. So let's get this on here. Line it up. Don't seem to have too much on the outside. And that's really good. Okay. Well, we're going to let that dry. I'm not going to put that on till later. Let's make sure this dries first. So we'll be back again later. Okay, we're back for the final stage now. This is all put together. It's all sealed nicely. You can see that. Just need to clean it up a little bit, but I don't see any big piles of glue sticking out, so it really sealed nicely. I'm happy with that. So now we're going to go and put down my little sentiment on the bottom down here. And I was going to use Mod Podge to adhere it, but I didn't want to sit around and wait for that to dry so that I could put the liquid glass on it. This is from Close to My Heart. It's called Liquid Glass. There's also one called Glossy Accents that another company makes, and then this one's by Sakura. It's called 3D Crystal Lacquer. They all do the same thing. They put a clear coating, it looks like liquid glass, on your projects. And that will make the sentiment stand out, and it'll also make it stick down. So I'm going to use this, first of all, to adhere it, so it will never come off. Okay, I'm back. I have now popped this open so I can get the glue out. It's on there now. Alright. So now we're just going to put a bubble of this all over. Basically paint it in. And then make sure you wipe this off, tap it down, and that should keep it from gunking up again. Okay. So now, this is very wet. It's really hard to see, but it's going to have a nice thick layer of basically adhesive glass on it. Oh. And there's my light. Okay. So once this is dry, you're done.